The Toyota AVENSIS. Now, where do I begin with this car? Let's start by saying, turning off the handbrake is easier said than done, but once you get it, it's fine. Now, this car is very basic, and I'll start on the good points which I think are valid. Instrument cluster, very clear, very precise. No obstruction of the steering wheel. Rear view vision is perfect, there's no obstructions there at all. Side mirrors, they're a damn good size, those are, it has to be said. Nothing wrong with those at all. The general interior, especially around the centre console, reminds me a bit of a Nissan. It's very cheap plastic there, that doesn't look too impressive. And the heating controls, they look pretty easy to operate while you're driving, although I would prefer turn dials myself. It just doesn't have a very good build quality to it. It feels very cheap and nasty. The car seats look like office furniture. It's a very boring and bland car, and if you're thinking about buying one of these, I think you should really be asking yourself why. With this particular model, the engine is so underpowered, it's frightening, and believe me, coming off the motorway now, it does cause problems, because if you go to overtake a lorry in the rain, this car does not have the power to get past. Pulling away from junctions, pulling away into roundabouts, you just don't have the speed to join the flow of traffic. So please, if you're thinking about buying one of these, I very strongly advise you to buy one with a bigger, more powerful engine. 0 to 60 test coming now. 3, 2, 1, 0. Steering on this car seems to pull, very much so, especially when you're braking. I don't know whether it's this particular car needing a service. It's done 14,000 miles, so I doubt it, but the steering does pull. Even without the braking, it's pulling to the right. It doesn't feel like it's a flowy suspension. It actually feels like it's too taut or over tightened. It's quite reflexive. Everything springs back as you go around the corners, which I don't like. If anything, it's very light, very smooth, and it's quite responsive. There's no real lag there. And if you give the car a good wiggle, it does roll around a bit, but it's not too bad for you know, what is effectively an estate car. So getting over the element of drabness that comes with this car, the mediocreness, if you like, it's quite a smooth ride. Seems to be holding the road quite well. Maybe a bit of noise from underneath the car, which always gives it a cheap build quality feel to it. But I'm doing, from 4th gear now, I'm doing 50 miles an hour. If I imagined I was on the motorway and have to get past something, it's just not going anywhere. It would be okay for nipping around town, running the kids to school, that sort of thing. But anything that involves more distance than, say, about 10 miles commuting, this car's going to be no good at all, because it's just tiresome to drive. It's tiresome waiting for it to get up to speed. It's almost like driving a small hatchback with an automatic gearbox and a tiny engine. It just the balance doesn't work. The engine is undersized. It needs a bigger engine, and this has got 6 gears. Once you're up to speed and you're in 6th gear on the motorway, it's fine, but it's just inadequate, and that's the best word for this. The more I drive this now, the more I'm aware of the noise beneath the car. Don't like that at all. It's not the engine noise. I can hear that separately. It's a wet day, and all I can hear is the road underneath me. In fact, it's so noisy, it makes me wonder whether there's any soundproofing on the floor pans of the cab at all. Now, let's see what this car's like on the course. there's no better place to try it than on a roundabout, and we're doing roughly 25 miles an hour. There's only one passenger in the car, so let's see what it thinks in the corners. Well, increase the speed a bit, I think. Definitely going to understeer soon. Yeah, understeering there. Nose goes down. It's not a fan of the corners at all. Let's see if we've got any torque steer now coming out. Yeah, it's not a nice car to drive this. It doesn't have a good build quality feel to it. It feels like it's being put together very cheaply. It sounds like it's being put together very cheaply. Let's see what the brakes are. 2, 1. Well, the brakes surprisingly are actually quite good. I did have the opportunity to apply gradual pressure, and they were quite powerful. They were a lot better than I thought they would be.